Hi, my name is LeAnn, and this is my channel. This is the first time I've read this book, and I'm not sure if anybody else is going to look at my channel that's actually read the book. So I may say some of the names incorrectly, and I may mess up some, so I do apologize, but this is all in great fun. Actually, my daughter didn't even realize she had this book in her room. She has so many books. And this just happened to be one of them that she didn't realize that she had. Okay, first of all, I'm going to take the cover off of it. And hopefully you can see me okay. And hopefully I can get it to where you can see the pages okay in the book as well. Again, sorry if I'm not super good at reading, but I'm going to try. This is once in a blue moon, as they say, the owl roars and the lion hoots and the magpie sings in key. The moonlight curds where it touches the ground, soft and sticky, then hard and bright, crazing beneath the softest step, and this white path leads across yard and garden, town and down, shore and moor, to Blue Moon Mountain. There, do you see, where the crags look like castles and the clouds like flapping flags? Only sleepers who sleep with their face to the window have ever seen such sights or such nights, and only the very brave, or the very foolish, have dared to follow that white, bright path. But Joy was born on a blue moon night. She chose clothes the color of fire and liked weather white with ice. She dreamed dreams that were full of unicorns and was forever asking her parents for stories and pictures of them. So when Joy woke on a blue moon night with a splash of mountain in her face, her eyes were no sooner open than her feet were on the floor. For a step or two the moonlight oozed and stuck and lifted on the soles of her feet. Then as she started to run, it crackled like eggshells. "Where are you going?" roared the owl. "Where are you running?" hooted the lion. "To find the unicorn," she cried. Okay, first of all, it says, "Where are you going?" roared the owl. And "Where are you running?" hooted the lion. I think it was supposed to be, "Where are you going?" hooted the owl. And "Where are you running?" roared the lion. Okay, we're just going to go with it. It's actually a really good book. The path led her through the yard. The flowers had no color, and even the pond's fish were not gold in the blue moonlight. The path led her through the town, but no one saw her go. The downs were grassy, and the shore was sandy, and the moor was sharp with rocks. But the blue moon path was as smooth as a turbine, and her feet went drum, drum, drum as she ran. So yeah, this is the one page I just read. Overhead, the blue moon grew bigger and bigger from winding together the white winds of the world. All the winds and all the whispers like a white ball of wool. And when Joy finally stood and looked at her on Blue Moon Mountain, the moonlight glimmered in 100 eyes watching. Watching. "Who's there? Who are you? I can see you. Come out," she called. A winged piece of the mountain as big as the hill gaped its jaws. "Where do they all live? The ones who don't exist. After the stories are over, where do they never end? That is my riddle. Solve it, who can." A paw touched Joy on the shoulder. "That's the Sphinx," said a wolf who had appeared by her side. "Don't mind her. She never smiles." "Oh, I'm sorry," said Joy. "Why, is she sad?" "As sad as the rest of us," answered the wolf. "It's rather sad. We find not to exist." "But you must exist," said Joy, "because I can see you." "Oh, well," said the wolf darkly. Then he broke off. Forgive me saying so, but you don't seem very afraid. I'm sorry. Should I be? I hope you're not offended. Not at all, said the wolf. But I think it's only my duty to warn you who I am. Do you know the story of Little Red Riding Hood or the Three Little Pigs? Well, I'm the big bad wolf. Joy looked at the wolf with her head on one side. I see, she said, but you're not very big, and you seem rather friendly. Thank you, said the wolf. But you know what stories are? Someone has to be bad. The giant, the troll, the wolf. Either the moon was growing brighter or her eyes were getting used to the dark, for all of a sudden Joy could make out other creatures walking on the mountain. There was a lion with wings, and another with the body of a horse. There was a man made of snow, and another with the body of a horse. There was a giant lizard, and dragons coiled around the roots of a tree. I'll expect you to run away now, said the wolf sadly. But Joy said, certainly not, for surely here, on this strange mountain, she would find her unicorn. The big bad wolf seemed pleased. One by one he introduced her to the beasts of the Blue Moon Mountain. This is Hydra, that Hercules fought, and this is the snake-headed Gorgon. You remember how in the story Perseus had to kill one without looking at it? But Joy was too young to know the stories. I'm sorry. I thought you were a tree, she said, turning to Hydra. And how lovely not to have to brush your hair in the morning, she said to Gorgon. And this is the sea. Who travels said could strike a man dead just by one glance of its... What nice eyes, said Joy, who was too young to know the story of the sea. And does the unicorn live here too? Yes, yes. It's here somewhere. But first, let me introduce you to the Golem of Sweden. Magicians hunt him for his teeth and paws. And here, the fire-breathing dragon. I'm very pleased to meet you, said Joy. I suppose you can cook your own dinner before you can eat it. Get it? Dragon cooking his own food before he can eat it. And this is the dragon from the top of the beanstalk. Or giant from the top of the beanstalk, I'm sorry. Edit! That Jackboy was such a liar. And this is a troll who lived under the Billy Goat's Bridge. Don't catch a cold in those wet clothes, said Joy. At the far side of Blue Moon Mountain lay a great lake. Mermaids and silkies lolled on the shore, flicking their fishy tails in the surf. The sea monster orcs splashed about in the shallows, showering them with spray. The big bad wolf carried Joy down to the water side to meet them on his soft brown back. This mountain is very crowded, she said. There is nowhere else we can go, sighed the wolf. When all of the stories and legends are finished, we've served our purpose, haven't we? We've proved how brave the hero in the story is to have fought us, or killed us, or escaped our fearful paws. Of course the storytellers never say anything good about us. How fierce it was to say, how hideous, how dangerous, how huge, how wicked. We're not even really like that at all. They only say it to prove that they are good and brave. It's not easy, you know, when no one wants to know you. We don't leave the mountain, you see. People out there would be too afraid because all of those stories, mostly they choose to say we don't exist at all, except in their imaginations. But that's such a shame. After all, you're so beautiful, cried Joy. The wolf blushed. But you are. You're marvelous. Look how golden the wyvern's scales are. Look how the sea dances, how the salamander glows in the dark. Look at the deer caterpillars. I've always dreamed of seeing a unicorn, of course, but I never knew there were so many other creatures just as fine. A murmur ran up and down the mountain. She says we are fine. She says we are marvelous. She says we're all lovely as the unicorn. She's not frightened of us at all. Not even the kraken? Ah, the kraken. Which one of you is the kraken? Asked Joy. He's out there, said the others, pointing over the deep, deep, dark lake. He's rising now. Listen, you can hear him. The lake is over 1,000 fathoms deep, and he rises from the bottom to the top. Only once in a blue moon, added the wolf. The wyvern trembled. The salamander shivered. The mermaids clung to the silkies, and the cyclops shut his one eye. Even the beasts of Blue Moon Mountain were painfully afraid. Such a long, long time it took for the kraken to rise, the world's greatest monster from the world's deepest lair. But at last, one black tentacle waved above the water. One, then two, then a forest of tentacles, each one with 1,000 suckers slippery with purple slime. Huge waves spread from the spot, broke on the shore, and sprayed against them all. Many monsters shut its eyes. What a wonderful creature! Cried Joy, and stood on tiptoe way back. She says the kraken's wonderful, murmured the Gryphon in surprise. What's rather grand, I suppose, the Gullin thought, loud as he looked at the creature from the deep. One by one the beast swayed back at the kraken's waving tentacles, and it grew so excited that it stirred up breakers so huge that they almost touched the moon. So he wasn't that bad after all. I guess they were all so scared of him because he's so big, and basically what was written about them, what was said about them. Okay. The moon, cried the creatures, looking up at the lightning sky. The moon is setting. Quick, you must leave the mountain before the white path breaks, said the wolf. But it's too late. As Joy ran back to the path, its eggshell whiteness changed beneath her feet to sticky softness. It began to melt away. Oh, how shall I get home now? She cried. Not until the next blue moon, said the Sphinx darkly. And who can tell when that might be? Don't worry, one of the winged ones will fly you home, said the wolf sharply. Pegasus, the winged horse. Who, me? Said the horse. Leave the mountain after the moon has set? I cannot. I am too afraid. The giant rock, then, suggested the wolf. It's no distance for a bird half as big as the sky. Who, me? Said the rock. Leave the mountain after the white path dissolved? How would I find my way back? The Gryphon, then, on the Sharpie of this verb, I don't know, or a raft of fairies. But none of the winged ones dared to make the journey so close to the set of the moon. I shall take her. It was the phoenix. I am near my end, so I'll soon begin again, it said puzzlingly. Won't you ride astride my back, girl child? The creatures all cheered, and yet even Joy was a little afraid. The elderly phoenix was starting to turn very red and to smoke at the wingtips. He was quite hot to the touch. She slipped between his great wings and clung tight round his neck, and the phoenix soared into the sky. just as the moon began to sink behind the mountain. "I know the answer to your riddle," Joy called to the Sphinx. "On Blue Moon Mountain, that's where you live. The ones who don't exist, and after the stories are over, this is where they never end." "Is that what you think?" called the Sphinx, who always answers everything with a question. The phoenix began to glow a little with heat and never die, it explained. "I just lay my egg, burst into flames, and the heat of the fire hatches the egg, and there I am, made new again." That's true. "Oh, good," said Joy, hoping the phoenix would not burst into flames just yet. The white path melted beneath them as if rain had washed it away. They flew over moor and shore, down in town, the dark park and the lit street, the garden and the houses, and all while the phoenix grew hotter and the moon sank lower in the sky. "Home again," said the phoenix. "Only just in time," hooted the lion. "Did you see the unicorn?" roared the owl. "Well, would you believe it?" exclaimed Joy. "In the end, I quite forgot to look for him." I think she forgot to look for him because she realized that aside from the creature that she enjoyed so much, she was able to meet other ones just as, if not more, spectacular than the unicorn. Back on the mountain, the unicorn darted out of hiding. "Where is she? Gone?" he asked. "She had to go. The moon was setting," said the wolf. "Why did you not show her yourself before?" "I was saving the best till last," said the vain creature. "It was me she came to see, not you. She came to see me. I heard her say so. Why else would she come? I'm the most beautiful creature in all the world. And what are you?" "We're wonderful," said the other beasts and birds, swaggering up and down. "She said so. We're beautiful." And suddenly it seemed as if all their sadness had melted along with the white moon path. Yes, I noticed I'm doing the book backwards, showing the pictures. "If she thought of you were wonderful, what would she think of me?" bragged the unicorn. And he sprang off the mountain and into the air, shouting, "Look at me, girl child! Look at me! Look at me!" It was a jump so huge that it crossed moor, shore, down in town, yard and garden, and the unicorn landed on a sill of Joy's bedroom window, just as the moon set. "I am the unicorn creature of myths and wishes, famed in story and history. Can I come in?" he said. "Certainly," said Joy, opening the window. "It's lovely to see you, but weren't you rather silly to leave the mountain? How will you get back?" "I don't know," said the unicorn, who was famously foolish. "You'll have to wait, I suppose, until the next blue moon," said Joy, shaking her head. I'm a Leo, and I can kind of relate to this because we can be foolish a lot of times. It may not be the only astrological sign that could be foolish, but we make that mistake. We are into ourselves, but it doesn't mean we don't love people, and it doesn't mean that we are not cautious. The unicorn hung its head. "But if people see me, they'll chase me and try to catch me and lock me in a cage." "Then I shall have to hide you here," said Joy. "But you must be very quiet and only come out when I say so." So after that, Joy did not ask her father to draw me a unicorn, for she could look at one whenever she pleased. She never asked her mother, "Tell me a story about unicorns," for she and her friends shared adventures enough in the secret dark. But often when she heard a story about a big bad wolf, or the troll, or the gorgon, or of fire-breathing dragons, she would interrupt and say, "Are you sure that's how they were?" She drew some quite marvelous pictures, too, though some people said they were frightening, of birds and beasts and monsters. And it was many years before Joy and the unicorn went back to Blue Moon Mountain, for it is only once in a blue moon that the owl roars and the lion hoots, and the moon lays down a path to show the way. And this is just some of the creatures. That's what they look like, what they were explaining about in the book. Sorry if my hand's in the way. So actually, this is a really good book, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, it's called Blue Moon Mountain, and if people don't understand what the meaning of the story is, in my opinion, the meaning of the story is you might find one great thing in this world, and like they always say, there's more fish in the sea. Like, for example, you find somebody that you really like, maybe things didn't work out with them, and you get sad about it, but then you are bypassing so many good things in life. You have to remember that things happen for a reason, and God passes things in and out of our lives for reasons, good and bad. Not always good, not always bad. Your favorite food. You don't want to try something new. Ugh, it's going to be disgusting. It's going to be yuck. No, not necessarily. Just because it looks funny or smells a little bit funny. Unless it's a person, it could be good. So, also, there's another example. Somebody you meet on the street, somebody you meet in a store, somebody you just meet in general, and no, they don't look like they'll be somebody I'd get along with. They don't look like they'd be nice. And it could be a scary looking person, and then you actually talk to them and realize how nice and gentle they really are. You know, basically, people judge books by their covers, and they miss out on good people, good things in life. And it's true. Like, a lot of these people that tell these stories, that write these stories, they make them sound worse than what they are sometimes. But are they really that bad? And like they said, whenever it's all said and done, the heroes and the birds and the unicorns and all those, they go back to imagination land. Nobody ever keeps them going like they should. They have that one character in a book, and then they end up going, well, to Blue Moon Mountain. Probably never to be seen again. But if you have a favorite book, you can always go back to it. But again, my name is LeAnn. I'm trying to, I guess, read some books. I don't know if anybody's going to look at my channels or think I'm kind of weird. But I actually never really got into reading. I really don't like reading. But this book was actually pretty good. I like stuff like this. I like anything to do with art, anything history, science, abnormal. As long as it's not too creepy, I actually like it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the story, and It's an older book, but I'm sure you'll be able to find it in the library. But thank you.